Now, speaking of Job, like something I wanted to ask you, Kipp, because I've heard this interpretation, particularly like about the end, like after like God goes through his all like, where were you when I made all this awesome bullshit, and Job like says like it's like he like covers his mouth and said like I won't say anything else or whatever. Are you familiar with Peter Enns?
I am.
I remember
what does he have to say about it.
So this wasn't just him. He was saying like other scholars like have like this is not that this is the only interpretation, but there's a possible interpretation. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. So it's more like the common interpretation I always heard like with Job, it was him like basically being like, "Oh, I'm sorry, God. Yeah, you're right. I'll shut up. I'll stop talking." But the way I heard Enns like talk about it was more like Job like kind of like holding his ground, like saying, I said what I said. I'm not going to say anything else. Like, and then in the end, God actually ends up vindicating him and like turning to Job's friends, like, yeah, you know what? Job's right. You guys are a bunch of assholes. How dare you berate him for all this stuff? So I don't know what. So I don't know what your thoughts on.
I have quite a few thoughts.
I thought that was an interesting twist. I don't know if that's reading a different narrative into it than the one that's there.
So Job is the problem with Job is it is an exceptionally complicated book. I'm trying to actually pull up. I've written about it, and I'm trying to pull up, but it's not. It's doing weird things. Do something normal. How do I get back to my table of? I'm trying to pull it up on my iPad here, but
I agree.
It's what?
Nothing.
Okay. So, damn it. I'll just. Oh, here we go. Okay, now. Content. Go there. There we go. Okay. So, like, here's what I'll just read you. My take on this.
All right.
If I can find it. So yeah, here we go. Now I'll say as well that the exchange in particular, and at one point Job actually says, right, I have a lawsuit that I am bringing before Yahweh, before God. I have a case to make. So one of the, and this is very clearly in there, a way to read this text is that it's like a legal dispute that Job has with Yahweh, and yeah, when Vish isn't around to handle the texting, so that's very true.
Fair.
So this is and Job actually wins the lawsuit, right? Mm-hmm. And gets reparations for it, right? He's compensated. But I'll read you what I've written about this. Let's see where to start. So yeah, the appeal of Job's friends is for him to pitch his case before Yahweh. If he's truly innocent, then God will vindicate him. In chapter 5, verse 8, he says, as for me, I would seek out El, and before God I would set my word. But Job resists. His dilemma is that he knows he's innocent, and he knows that God knows that he's innocent. He says in 23:10-12, he knows my way, he tests me, I shall come out like gold. In his footstep, my own foot is planted. By his way I have kept and not wavered, commandments of his lips I have not withdrawn. Within my own precepts I have hidden the words of his mouth. I'm just skipping forward here. Finally, after much pushback on the trite advice of his exasperated friends, after crying out to the God who was ignoring him, Yahweh shows up and he confronts Job in a set of lengthy speeches in chapters 38-41. Who is this darkening my counsel with words, but with no knowledge, is what Yahweh says. Shall a malcontent argue with Shaddai? Whoever rebukes a god must respond. Job answered Yahweh and said, see here, I am tiny. What answer of mine will satisfy you? I slap my hand over my mouth. Once I have spoken, but I will not respond. Twice, but will not continue. Yahweh answered Job from the storm and said, Here now, hike up your skirts like a man. Like a man. I will interrogate you, and you will answer me. Would you in fact impugn my justice? Do you dare condemn me as if in the right? Have you an arm like a god? Can you thunder with a sound like his voice? In a series, that's chapter 40, verses 2 to 9. In a series of
God has a small
petulant
penis.
diatribes. Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? In a series of petulant diatribes, Yahweh essentially reaffirms many of the observations of his friends, and disappointingly asserts his omnipotence and Job's inability to comprehend why such things happen. In short order, people suffer or they do not within the grand design of God, which is none of your fucking business anyways. Is this really a message meant to comfort? So Job is silenced into resigned acceptance. And this is kind of what I want to focus on. In chapter 42, verses 2 to 6, he says this: I know that you are capable of everything. No schemes are beyond you. And then he's quoting Yahweh's words back to him. He says back to Yahweh, Who is this darkening counsel with a dearth of knowledge? To wit, he says, I have held court, but I do not understand. Things too difficult for me, so I do not know. Listen now, I myself will speak. I will interrogate you, and you will reveal unto me. And he's parroting God there again, right? But he continues, By my own ear I have surely heard you, but now my eye has seen you. So then I give up. I repent in dirt and ash. So that's chapter 42, verses 2 to 6. And I say this, can you hear it in his voice? Is it piety? Is it regret? Is it humility? Theologians and commenters alike will tend to interpret Job's final response in this light. I don't know who this is, but this is a bad conservative commentator. The Lord's, it's in a, I do actually have it referenced in the book, but I'm too lazy to look up the footnote right now. The Lord's speeches has stripped Job of his pride and self-sufficiency, and all that remained was a debasing need to repent. But if you are anything like me, you will find this an unsatisfying resolution. Is that it? God just gets to flip the game board, and Job, who has been vocal, insistent, and brave in his petition for justice from a deity, is just good with that? Color me skeptical. To be clear, we can't hear Job's voice, and without hearing it, without hearing him, we also can't know whether his final words here are spoken in fawning acceptance or may otherwise be just a tad sardonic. I prefer to think that this is a moment of exasperation for the abused protagonist. Yahweh sat silently through his complaints, through a fire hose of bad advice from his confused friends, only now to respond with verbal barbs as sharp and traumatizing as the corporeal ordeal he has endured. I prefer to see in Job's words defiance, a final faux contrition before Yahweh, performed through clenched teeth of tongue-in-cheek resentment. The best way to shut up a blustering tyrant is to say whatever it takes to make him stop talking. Just shut the fuck up, Yahweh. So, and that's, I mean, that's kind of, in terms of Job's response in the end, that tends to be, I hope that's what the author wanted. I hope the author kind of wanted Job basically saying, oh, look at you. You can control the sun and the snow and the waves, and you're so big and strong. All these chaotic monsters, you know, and you've got controlled under your thumb. Oh yeah, you're a big man, God, picking on little old me. What am I gonna do? I guess I shall repent in dust and ash, because clearly, what other choice do I have? So
Right. Wow. Well, thank you.
you're welcome.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What were you reading from there, by the way?
That's my book.
Was that was that your new book or?
Yes. So
Ah, cool.
I heard you don't write books.
yeah, it's a nasty rumor going around. It's not true. So
but I've seen it on YouTube.
Started that. Neil Sandlak started that rumor. And then and Maya Atkinson continued it. So
I don't know. Is she just still bitter about the cover, or like?
no,
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe she is. She got over that. So
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I think it's really interesting how people can see that
See?
the ending of
There's-
Job
oh,
in
it's too
so many
bright. You
different
can't
ways.
see it. It's interesting to what? Sorry.
Like how like that, like your description of that sounds the most plausible to me. But then I think it's interesting how people like across the Christian spectrum and like atheist, former Christian, can see a different tone in there.
Oh yeah, right. So
Like
you can see it now.
And I almost wonder if that's intentional by the writer. Like, is the point not to give an answer, but to like give people something to wrestle with? Like, what was the ending?
100%. I am into this idea that that the writer, because here's the thing too, right? The Book of Job in Hebrew is famously dense. Like, it is the most difficult book to read in Hebrew because the writer is trying to write it in this really pretentious, old-fashioned-y sounding kind of. Yeah, it would be like somebody today trying to write like in Shakespearean English, but like in a really, and I think part of that is almost as a way just to not he's certainly trying to show that this is a very, very old story, very ancient, right? But I think there's a lot more to it. I think he's also trying to add to the ambiguity of it by just making a lot of it confusing and difficult to read. Like you have to really work hard to read this text, and say nothing of understanding half the shit too, right? So it's but that's and in many ways I think it's an ingenious text because it's intentionally situating the reader in the position of Job to just frustrate and confuse the reader while he's reading it. It's supposed to be difficult. So yeah, I could go on about that, but for a while, but I won't because this is not my show.